Well, today we're going to look at more transitions. So I'm going to start a new Android Studio project. Just go ahead and leave it as my application. And there's different ones here. There's one that says basic activity. So we could choose that. Then click finish.
I had another project open, so I close it. You just want to name my application?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to spend much time into this. Just kind of explore a little bit of what that means. Though if I can remember the code, then we'll go ahead and do it right here. Otherwise, I'll bring up my example I created earlier. Okay.
What are we covering? Like a general basis.
Transitioning using menus.
Oh, okay.
So I'll click the Hello World. Android Studio makes it quite simple if you use one of the templates already defined, like we just did. And really, you probably could choose any of the templates that had the three dots up here, three little dashes. Now, if I run this,
All it says is replace with your own action.
yeah, your computer's faster than mine.
That's the 1070 Max Q.
Well, this is like a speed demon compared to my one at home.
Mine at home, my main rig at home is faster, so I've been working on that for years.
Mm-hmm. And like you point out, there's three dots up here. I'm surprised yours doesn't say setting.
Oh, I didn't click on the three dots. I clicked on the mail. Mine says settings.
Oh, okay.
But if you click on the mail,
So this.
it says replace with your own action.
Oh, yeah. So this up here is where our menu is going to be. So you click that, and the menu pops up. So that's what we're looking at: is how do you put a menu in here for one thing, and then how do you do the programming on it? Okay. Now, if you come back to your Android Studio, you don't see those three little dots up there. But if over here I expand, I go to App and go to Resources. You see you got a layout, which if you expand that still has activity main in there. That hasn't changed. That's what's currently showing. There's a menu here. If you expand a menu, there's menu main .xml. If you double click that, this is where you control the menu at. And down here at the bottom, Of course, up here you see your palette, but down here you see the component tree, and this is your menu items. And that settings you see right there is this first one. I'm gonna go to menu item here, and I'm gonna click and drag and drop it down here in the menu, and I'll drag another one, drop it down here. Now you should see two items here now. For the title over here, this is how you can control what it's going to say. So, for example, if I wanted to go to add, or the second one, I change to subtract. Now, even though this one looks kind of strange, it says it's got an ID, and it says at string / action underscore settings. This is the proper way. So if you don't get these little warning signs here, you need to go and create a string over in this file. So if I come over here and click values, and I double click string, you'll see action settings is over here. So like if I wanted to, I'll call this add settings and have that say add. I could say subtract settings, and that's a subtract. Again, this is XML. It has to begin with a string, less than string, and then end with a slash string over here. This name will correspond with what you'll use over in the menu. So if I double click menu underscore main, you see how this settings here says at string / action underscore settings?
Yes.
We're going to do the same thing for like subtract. We'll change the title to at, no memory, at string. So at string / subtract settings.
Is that on the title or on the ID?
That's on the title. The ID is still blank, but I could put an ID there. I could say subtract menu item. Now for the add.
Mine is titled, but it doesn't do the ID automatically for some reason.
Yeah, mine, like my ad, see how it's blank?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't put there something automatically. But you could type something. So add menu item if you wanted to.
Is there an empty ID title?
Mm-hmm.
It just made my things go blank.
I named it MI underscore subtract.
back to your XML for your strings. Oh, you didn't put anything between that. Between this less than that, or the greater than the less than. Yeah. Sometimes I have trouble getting that to update. Hopefully it updates on Mac. Oh, it did. Or no?
Oh.
Oh, it's settings.
You can't get settings to move.
What?
You get settings to move down here.
You should be able to. Over here in this component tree, you should be able to grab it here and drag and drop it.
Oh, okay. Didn't move it.
Well, that's strange.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, you can manually do it.
I'm trying, but it won't let me. Oh, there it goes.
How'd you do it?
I moved the, like you said on the left, I moved it underneath, and then it let me move it. Like I could not move it before that.
See, I'm moving mine. Wait a minute. Okay, it's down at the bottom.
Yes, it didn't. It did that for me. It wouldn't let me move it, and then I just grabbed settings and then put it above app on the right,
See, that's where mine is now.
and then I grabbed the icon.
Oh, you grabbed the.
Yeah. And that worked.
Huh.
Yeah, it was being weird for me. It took me a second. I don't think I'll be able to do it again.
Well, you can do it manually, like over here. You can come over here and physically change it. Like if I wanted this action settings be at top, I can cut that and come over here and paste it. Now, how to get it to refresh over here is the more challenging part. You see how I moved it to the top, but it's still at the bottom. What would that be? Build. Probably rebuild project would do it, guessing. If I run it. I believe the XML should control. I don't think there's an order option on it, but let's see.
I just have the Note 9 under the emulator.
The what?
I wonder if they have the Note 9 under the emulators.
I don't know. Huh, still down there at the bottom. I'll have to look into that. Of course, what I wonder now is each time I run a program, does it stay out here for the app? No wonder it's running so slow. I have all those still out there. Okay. Um, Oh, there is an order and category. I wonder if I get rid of this order and category in XML. I'll do a Control C just in case I need it. My XML doesn't match what the design.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. I'm pretty sure I changed that. Oh no, I didn't change that. Never mind. Okay, now settings is up at the top. So let me move the settings down now. There it is. It was the order and category that was defaulted. Yeah, in theory, you should just be able to move these and put it wherever you want. If it doesn't, then I don't see the choice here. You could do view all attributes, but probably easier to go to your text and just delete that item. Okay, so let me change the add.
So when it says icon, you can add your own like, picture or something.
Yeah, we'll be taking a look at that eventually. But yeah, you can add your own icon.
Oh.
So you come over here and you choose these. What I haven't played with is how do you add your own design. You know, it's easy to choose these, and you probably choose one that corresponds to whatever you're doing. Like if you're going to my calendar, you probably choose that one, so forth. Here's show as action. We'll talk more about this. We're just kind of introducing this concept. But some of these are like never show it if there's room. So if there isn't room to show it, then they won't show it. Always with text, so forth. You might say, well, why don't you want to make it visible? Or why don't you want to show it type of deal? Well, maybe you don't want the menu to be there to begin with. But if it's an option they've selected, then you want to modify that on the fly for the menu. Maybe you don't want to enable it if they got a certain phone. So you got it disabled type of deal. So, okay, so we got those. And up here under Java, you see we still just have our main activity up here. So it doesn't, when you create a menu, it doesn't create a Java program associated with it. But if I go over to mainActivity.java, what you're going to find, it's got a lot more items in it now. Up here at top, it's got all the code in here to create the toolbar. Ties everything together. Set support action bar. Sets a listener. A listener is like going out there and listening for an action to happen. It's waiting for you to click those three little dots. So that's a listener. On create options menu. The get menu inflator. Inflate. This is where it builds a menu you could think of, inflates it, creates it. Down here specifically is where we're going to put our programming at. You see where it says on option item selected, menu item. And it's even got the example here that we currently have, the action settings. So if I wanted to put my own if statement in there for the add and subtract, I could say if id equals r.id dot add menu item. And I put a beginning curly brace and closing curly brace. And if I put if id equals r.id dot subtract menu item, The neat part about those templates is it goes ahead and gives you a pattern, so you can base it upon that. Now this return true that the settings is doing, that's not doing anything. If you're going to delete these settings, I would recommend to go through and first create your code for your menus you do want. Because then you can use that as a pattern. And then you can go back and delete the action settings or rename it if you wanted to. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, when they click the add menu, we want it to go to another screen. So we want to go over here and create another activity. Going too fast or?
Nah, I got all the statements.
Okay. So I come over here to layout, and this is the part I don't know if I'll remember or not. Right click, choose new activity, and I'll choose empty activity.
We need to call it something.
I'll call it add activity. Okay. And then we'll click finish. Well, first I'll do this one, but yeah, what you'll do for the project is you'll have 4 total. You'll have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And just very simple, we'll have 2 text boxes on there. You click a button, it adds them. Or you click a button, subtract them, multiply them, divide them. So each one does a different math operation.
Okay.
So not a real exciting one, but it gives you an idea how the menu works. Okay, so now this is over here, and I could there it is. I'm looking right at it. Activity add.xml. I'll go ahead and throw a couple text boxes on there. I'll make them numeric. I'll have my button. Oops. Button. There it is. I'll have another text. And maybe I'll make it a text view. Okay, so now this is the activity, the screen we want to load once I click the add option. So if I go back to my let's see, right there, main activity.java, and I got the add menu. Let's see if I can remember this. Intent result equals new intent. This, comma, add
That says add activity.
your scheme. Oh, I didn't do uppercase. Add activity. That's what it should say. Dot class. And I'll do an alt enter to have it accept the bring in the import the code for into the intent.
Okay, so we need to bring in the activity that we made.
Right. So this will be the name of whatever you use for the activity. So if you do a subtract activity, be subtract activity, multiply activity, divide activity, and so forth.
Start activity.
Good memory. This is the part I wasn't sure if I'd remember, which I didn't. So thanks.
No problem. me a while to get with that order app.
I don't know. I can't remember the start activity. I can remember the intent, but I just can't remember the start activity. Okay, so now this should bring up the add menu. We can test that just to make sure, and then we'll put the code in for the ad. So if I run that,
Okay. Yeah, it worked. Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
rubbing in my face how slow my machine is. Okay, so then I come up here, choose add.
Something's wrong with JC.
Oh, I didn't do my.
Oh, you didn't. Whatever you made yours call JC, you'll do instead of adding. See what it's read. Oh. Same thing with that. I don't think that it uses admin. So check whatever your ID was.
That's why I need this admin. It says it right here.
Interesting.
It should match. Let me see. You see the Java, the Java's across top? They should match that name there. Because if you click that, that'll tell you the public class.
So it's main it's main to it.
Yeah, well, I fixed that. But the ID or my name doesn't matter. For some reason. Since it's admin,
Is that a?
I don't think I didn't.
So that's the ID.
Oh, okay. Lots of little things in creating these apps. Have set it here, set it here, set it here, and set it here, or it doesn't work. Now, if I come over here and I want to program in, I'm in add activity. I want to program in getting those. I probably need to give them more meaningful names. I did set up my infer constraints with the magic wand. This first one I'm going to call ed underscore num1. And I'll update usages. They'll say yes. This one I'll call ed num2. And this one I'll call text view TV sum. And I'll update the references. Button, I'll go ahead and change it to say calculate. Or actually, maybe add would be more appropriate. Since that's what we're doing there. Now that I got those named, I'm going to come over to my add activity. I come down here before the last curly brace. And remember, we put public, void, button, add. And then view v. Do alt enter to accept the code for the, or import the code for view.
If you like do the code completion, you don't have to do the alt enter.
Really? So if you just do a tab while starting to type that?
Yeah.
I'll have to remember that. So I like to save. I'm lazy. Let's see. Edit text. N1 is equal to edit text find view by ID r dot ID dot ed num1. edit text in 2 is equal to edit text, find view by ID, r.id.add num2, and text view, t1 is equal to text view inside of parentheses, find view by ID, and I should have done a code completion there. It told me that, but text view, find view by ID, r.id.tv sum. Now we need a double num1, num2, and the sum, or whatever you want to call it. Probably sum wouldn't be good. Sometimes that's a reserved word. Num1 is equal to double dot parse double in1 dot get text to string. Num2 is equal to double dot parse double in2 dot get text dot to string. The sum is equal to num1 plus num2. And then we want to write that out. So t1 dot text is going to equal to t1 dot set text double dot to string of the sum. So then if I run that, oh,
Yeah, we
how many times have I forgot that?
more times than you like.
So you got to click your button, you got to come over here to on click, and then choose your button head. Okay.
Come on down to Cali. Our teachers know what they're doing. Our school is very credible. 8.
You think I forget it for 50 times, I'd remember it, but obviously not.
What was it? It works. Show me. It's like show me and I forget. Teach me. Show me and I will remember. And teach me. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, there it is. Is there any questions on any of that?
No, I don't think so. That one was pretty clear.
Well, just go through and create, again, the menu items for add, subtract, multiply, divide. If you want to leave settings there, you can. If you want to delete it, that's fine too. If you delete it there, you might have to delete the Java code also. So it might not clean it up. That's the only issue. And that's not hard to clean. It's not hard to clean it up. If you go to your add activity, wait a minute. I'm lying to you. Main activity. Then you'll see the option there for the action settings. So probably just as easy to rename that and use it, but it's up to you.